President Trump causing a buzz in Silicon Valley and on Wall Street yesterday. In an exclusive interview with Maria Bartiromo, the president suggested the government might sue technology giants, Twitter, Facebook, and Google, although he didn't say for what. He also continued to rail against perceived anti-conservative bias by these companies.
These people are all Democrats. It's totally biased toward Democrats. If I announce tomorrow that I'm going to become a nice liberal Democrat, I would pick up 5 times more followers. I was picking up 100,000 followers every few days. And all of a sudden, and I'm much hotter now than I was a number of months ago. Okay, a number of months ago. Then all of a sudden it stopped.
Well, investors reacted to those comments in real time, selling shares in Google and Facebook. That was even before the open. Let's bring in Rebecca Walser of Walser Wealth Management. And the president really making some news yesterday with Maria. But there is a big concern out there that whether it's antitrust, whether it's fines in Europe, big tech has got a big problem.
Yes, Cheryl. I mean, you know, it's amazing to me, specifically with Google, how they still sort of portray that this is a question, that they're not objective and that there's no problem with their search results. Harvard research has found that their search results are biased. European Union has fined them for biased search results. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we actually have a video from the week that Trump got elected, their weekly meeting, where you've got high corporate executives saying that they'll use the full resource of Google to basically deal with the situation of Trump, which they didn't view as a very positive thing. They were crying, you know. So this I just don't understand how they can be so blatantly. We know there are 9 shadow lists that basically skew search results based on their political ideology. So it's amazing that they continuously toe the corporate line of they're completely unbiased. Mm-hmm. But there's multiple resources and investigations that show that they're not. They are biased.
Right. And, you know, it's interesting because now Mark Zuckerberg is backing data privacy legislation. That might be a little too late, some would say, because he's been kind of late to kind of get onto that train. He's been criticized so much in Washington and, as you mentioned, in Europe. And, you know, a lot of Democrats even are saying break up big tech. I mean, this is kind of bipartisan now, this attack on these big tech companies. Do you foresee a future where the government really intervenes and tries to break up these companies, kind of like the Ma Bell breakup from the 80s?
You know, Cheryl, I'm not a big proponent of government intervention in private business. I'm an extreme, you know, capitalist and want to have government at bay as much as possible. That's when the free market works best. Yeah. But let's be honest, you can't have an engine that runs 90% of the searches. You can't have a Facebook platform. There is no alternative, you know, and they buy up the alternatives. They buy up Instagram. They do these things where they have all of a sudden, they're not a free platform. They are definitely censoring, you know, certain viewpoints and then expect the government not to intervene. You can't have it both ways. You can't say we're free and independent and everybody's on the platform, but really no, only our viewpoints are on the platform. You know, so you have to choose. You
know, it's funny because the Justice Department reportedly is planning this antitrust investigation against Alphabet and Google. You mentioned the search issue, and you're 100% correct. But I've seen a pushback that basically you don't have to click on a link. Say that I look for shoes on Google. I don't have to go to the first option that they give me on the search. There's still a lot of free choice out there. Unlike in the 80s when you only had one phone company and one phone line. Like, I'm wondering if that's going to be the argument the technology companies are going to kind of push back on. Or push back with, excuse me, with. That's their argument.
Yeah. You know, Cheryl, it's a good point. But the fact is that, you know, this is obviously how they make their revenue, by putting the sponsored ads at the top. So all of the native or organic search results are pushed down so far, maybe page 2, that no one's actually going to get to them. So it's kind of saying, like, you know, oh, well, it's there somewhere. Find it yourself. Well, you go to Google to find these things. So clearly, I don't think that that's going to hold much weight.
We'll see what investors do today. I should say that actually Alphabet's actually higher by 0.75% in the pre-market. So we'll see how the stocks fare today after yesterday's move.
Yeah.
Rebecca, thank you so much. It's great to have you on the show. Please come back.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you.